Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the From Cameras to Couches podcast. I, as usual, am your host, Zach Davis.
And I am Emmy Davis.
And we are back with another, what we would usually call a weekend roundup, but this is kind of like a quarterly roundup.
Roundup.
A third of the year roundup on a bunch of stuff since the beginning of the year. I mean, it's been hotly discussed how the state of the entertainment industry has been going into the beginning of this year. We've been seeing a lot of like finances be discussed and trying to figure out if investments into, massive projects like this are worth it, and
if companies have money to make movies anymore. I mean,
and
even
if it's
Hollywood's
worth it for them
going
to
broke too,
even
man.
make them, just because people aren't seeing them. And then that's the conversation for like the beginning half of this year. And then it just moves into like, okay, well, now people are going to see them. So what now? Because we've had such a resurgence in the past month with several different projects. But it's been an interesting couple of months. Pretty dour for a while there. It was pretty quiet and boring, and there was just nothing that was really striking.
Truly middle of the road movies in theaters.
Stuff that I'd been looking forward to, like Mickey 17 and things like that, just did not hit those high marks that I was expecting them to. I don't know. It's just been a weird beginning to the year, and then we just got, The Amateur and things like that just floating on by. There's not really a lot to dig into for, I guess,
Aside from
late March into beginning of this month.
Yeah, aside from what movie we're really going to be talking about today.
Yeah.
Aside from that, there really hasn't been like any excitement except for like re-releases.
The Minecraft movie. The Minecraft movie is a big deal, and to all of the people that just begged me to go see it, I saw it. Okay, I saw it. I did it. I got over it myself, and I was just like, I can't tell people go to the theater, and then when they go to the theater, say stop. So I went and saw it. We'll get into that conversation in a little bit, but we've got a lot of news from the first half of the year. Just some stuff I wanted to talk about, just so we could catch up on a few things. But the first of which is Village Roadshow is now bankrupt, which is a damn shame. Village Roadshow is a great publishing company, producers of huge projects throughout the 90s, aughts and tens, like The Matrix, Zoolander, Miss Congeniality, the Ocean's movies, Joker, and a ton more. Kind of hit the fan last year. They've been in a long-standing battle with Warner Brothers, a legal battle over the release of The Matrix Resurrections, which was the most recent Matrix movie, which was released simultaneously on Max and in theaters during COVID, and which was not something that they had previously stipulated, and was a huge deal. They are kind of just fighting a losing battle with Warner Brothers lawyers over that, from what I understand, and they filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So, rest in peace to Village Roadshow. That really sucks. They have so much good stuff under their belt, but who knows? Maybe somebody will buy them out and turn it back around. Although I don't think a lot of people have enough money to do that right now. Okay, here's one that I've been waiting on for a while. The new Spider-Verse movie, the capstone to the trilogy that has been running since 2018, is finally going to be released in 2027.
Can you believe it?
Almost 10 years after the debut of Into the Spider-Verse, we're finally getting this movie. And there's been a lot of hay made over the production of this particular one. I understand that the production of the second one, which I guess is Across the Spider-Verse, is like another thing entirely, but there's a lot about like the main two characters played by Haley Steinfeld and what's his damn name?
I don't know. I want to say it's like
Shameik Moore.
I was gonna say.
He's
an interesting guy.
He's a freak of nature. He's just so desperate to be in a relationship with Haley Steinfeld. We'll talk more about her later.
And her relationships.
Yeah, it's good that this is coming back around, because it really sounded like it was going to get put on ice. And
this feels like something, I mean, like, the way that the first two movies, like, with the popularity of the first two movies in this trilogy and, like, the anticipation for the third, like, if the third lives up to the hype, this feels like one of those things that, like, you'll revisit with your kids, like, way down the road and then be like, oh, yeah, and we had to wait that long for the third movie.
Yeah, this isn't like seeing the third Lord of the Rings movie. They come out in succession one year after the other, or even, like, Infinity War Endgame, This is something entirely different, where it's like, this is a huge project that takes an unbelievable amount of work. And they're just doing everything they can to try and put this franchise to bed, and I hope it works out. I really do. I'm a little worried about it. This has long-standing been like one of my favorite animation projects ever. But we'll see. We will find out how this finishes out.
In 2027.
Yeah.
Yippee.
Just around the corner.
It actually isn't that far.
Don't say that. Dune Messiah is currently on hold at Warner Brothers after a massive failure of Mickey 17 at the box office, and box office predictions for One Battle After Another have dropped accordingly, and David Zaslav, the president of Warner Brothers, is going to focus on big IP moving forward.
No.
This news came out before Sinners hit theaters.
Okay.
Which is a really good sign. We'll get to the Sinners discussion because that's going to be a lot.
We'll talk about it ad nauseum, I'm sure, for the rest of the year.
Yeah. This is incredibly disheartening to hear, just from a president, to be like, okay, well, we're going to work on our franchises right now. I understand, but also, like, Warner Brothers is kind of holding strong with having these big event movies because they had Dune 2 last year, which was a huge deal. And Mickey 17 was kind of supposed to fill that early year slot this year, but really just didn't. Like, it didn't get the momentum in any way, shape, or form from, like, word of mouth, mostly because I felt like it just landed kind of flat. And yeah, it definitely is a big reflection of the mentality of Hollywood right now for them to just be like, you know what, we're going to focus on what we know makes money. Go watch the studio, please.
The studio.
After Sinners has hit the fan, I think he's gonna have to eat those words because I think he's gonna see, like, literally everybody is praising it for being like an original movie, big studio budget, coming out, being a great word of mouth movie and a great discussion movie, and like people are still going to see it. It's still
love it.
Here we are 3 weeks later, and you're still going to theaters, and you're still seeing almost every seat full. Like it's kind of ridiculous, and it's just because it's such a good conversation topic. So that being said, like, don't let those movies die because my God, that's like why we go to the theater. I have a lot of love for the indie stuff and the smaller budget stuff, but like when you see something on studio scale like this, it's awesome. It's incredible. Okay, moving on. David Fincher, is directing a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for Netflix, supposedly based off of the script that Tarantino just scrapped for his new movie, The Movie Critic, or his last movie, The Movie Critic.
This is such an interesting thing.
It's a weird one. This is a weird clash of things that I like and am worried about.
A sequel to a Tarantino movie, like, in this manner? I mean, obviously we have Kill Bill Volume 2, but like, to be done this way, like almost a spinoff? For
Fincher to be picking this up is a check. Like, that's a check mark for me. I'm good with that. I do like Fincher's movies. I wish they were released on a little bit more than just streaming. I would really love to have like a copy of The Killer on DVD. We'll never get that, or Mank, or all these movies that are just kind of locked to Netflix forever.
Yeah, but also you kind of have to have good streaming movies too, you know? Like, you can't just let all the streaming movies be bad.
I concur. I just wish that there was some form where Netflix would make a little bit of money by selling me a copy of it.
You wish Netflix would physically release it.
I just want to see The Killer in a full 4K resolution, not with any like bitrate issues through streaming and stuff. I don't know. Netflix has been rubbing me wrong with some streaming lately. But anyway, I am excited for this.
You just hate streaming.
I'm fine with streaming. I think streaming is accessible and easy and comfortable for people to be able to get into. But I do find that watching something on a disc is just a better experience 100% of the time. Anyway, I am excited for this movie. I think it'll be interesting. I'm a little worried about it. I'm glad that Brad Pitt's coming back because supposedly it's going to revolve around his character Cliff Booth. But we'll see. We'll definitely see. It's going to be.
I'm excited about it.
Going to be something one way or another. Here's an interesting one. A24 just landed Jesse Eisenberg's next movie, which is a musical comedy starring Julianne Moore and Paul Giamatti.
I'm on board for every word that just came out of your mouth.
Me too.
A24, Jesse Eisenberg, musical comedy, Julianne Moore, Paul Giamatti?
Yeah,
Shut
for sure.
up!
Let's talk about A24 for a second and just their impact this year.
Gosh, they've been doing... They're just doing the most.
They
in
are,
a weird way.
They are doing the most, and they're doing a lot of sellable stuff. They're doing Death of a Unicorn.
They've definitely moved from more
I-
of like an indie film.
Yeah.
Like I feel like we see more films like what A24 used to do from like Neon now.
Yeah, for sure. And they did Warfare this year, which is just...
And Death of a Unicorn, which also I will be getting into Will Poulter's performance in both of those coming out like back to back, because it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Warfare wasn't as nearly as sellable as people thought.
No.
I think...
Excuse me.
I just think that, like, it was reflected in what it made at the box office. But I think that more people were thinking that would be something people would see than actually went and saw it. Because I thought it was fantastic. I thought it's got some of the best sound design I've ever heard.
I really liked it.
But it's also, like, hyper political and a little indulgent. And it depends on how you read the movie, between being a little indulgent and being, like, overly indulgent to the point of, like, nauseatingly so. But I didn't read the movie that way, and I leave it to you. We'll talk more about Warfare later.
I was gonna say, we can't. I'm gonna get into it right now if we keep going.
Anyway, A24, they've had an interesting year so far. I'm curious to see how it's gonna pass on. But speaking of passing on, Val Kilmer passed away. We talked about that at the end of our Babylon podcast. Was it? We just vaguely brought it up. I can't remember if it was that one or the one before.
Might have been about Bob.
But yeah, super super sad to hear. I mean, he was commonly known as just, you know, a nice face and a bit of a flake, and just an awesome actor, awesome character actor. Very very fun in pretty much everything he does. I mean, what's your favorite Val Kilmer role, if you could pick one off the top of your head?
My favorite Val Kilmer role is 150% The Prince of Egypt. But we can't count that really because it's I'm not going to count it because it's voice acting. But Tombstone.
Yeah. Tombstone.
I love Tombstone.
Tombstone's fantastic. I'm really partial to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I love his character.
I always
in Kiss,
forget
Kiss,
he's
Bang
in
Bang.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I've only seen that movie like once or twice.
He is so funny in that. And that's a big comeback movie for RDJ too, and they're just bouncing off each other like crazy. It is so fun. Rest in peace, Val Kilmer. You will be sincerely missed. I will forever shed a tear at your Top Gun Maverick cameo. Okay, let's talk about Sydney Sweeney for a bit, because she's making some moves right now. For starters, she has become...
This girl just does stuff, you know?
She's going to star and produce Michael Bay's Outrun, which is a video game from like the 80s or 90s. I have never played it. It's basically just driving a strip and running away from the police, I guess.
Okay.
She's going to be in this movie, and she's also putting her money where her mouth is on this movie. I have no idea what this is going to be. I'm not
In
very...
what capacity is she working behind the scenes on that?
I don't imagine very much. I'm
Like
sure she's like putting up capital for it, and
something.
she's getting directed by Bay, and that's probably what's going to happen. And like, what's up with Michael Bay? Like, after like 2 decades of putting out Transformer movies, he's done other stuff in between, but I haven't paid attention to any of it. Yeah, this will be one of the movies that comes out in the next 2 years.
It will be a movie.
Another one that Sydney Sweeney is now starring in is an adaptation of Haze Light Studios' Split Fiction, which is another video game.
It's like a new
one that
video
was released
game.
in like the last 2 months.
Like, how'd they? All right, girl. Okay.
Long story short,
So John M. Chu
yeah, John M. Chu is directing this.
is so interesting.
It's weird.
All right, Wicked. Let's see what you got.
This game has a claim to fame because the director of the studio is like, has such a cult of personality behind him. He's a really really funny but like just crazy European guy. B, in an era where like the idea of people sitting on a couch together and playing video games together is dying, that studio is trying to keep it alive by making like story-focused 2-player on a couch kind of games where you can just sit through and play it together and things like that, which is something I really admire. Honestly, and that's why
more couch co-op games, please.
That's why this studio and series are so popular. They released a Game of the Year winner as their last entry. I have a sneaking suspicion that this one is also going to be in the awards for this year. This isn't a video game podcast. I'm just giving you context behind why this movie is being made so fast. It's a money pit. Like it is probably one of the highest grossing games of the year, made on an extremely low budget with a super dedicated team of people.
Well, and also, like, what I mean, I've not really played the game, so I don't have anything to say about it, but what do you have to say about it, like, its replayability? Like, are they trying to get this movie out before the game is irrelevant?
Well, I think it will 100% be something where the movie will probably be in the next year and a half or two. And I don't think it's going to make it before the award season for the game. The game may hit, like, some really high points at the award. It may win Game of the Year. I don't know. But if it does, they will have that in the back pocket to go make more money with. And I think that it's just so popular that people are just seeing it and being like, we could make this and make, like, Fortnite movie money.
Okay. Are they making a Fortnite movie?
I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all.
I was like, I panicked for a second. I was like, is there a Fortnite movie that I don't know about? No, it's going to be like
a huge Disney multiverse thing. I guarantee you this is going to exist at some point. Anyway, back to Split Fiction. So, and it has a lot of steam this year. It's just going full steam ahead. The story of this game I do not care for. I honestly, like, I have a lot of fun with these games, and the back half of this one kind of dragged for me. And Danny, who I was playing it with, but the story has never been where it's at for these.
I feel like the characters are incredibly annoying.
Usually they are. There's just not a whole lot there. John M. Chu though, I don't know. So that's being made. Sydney Sweeney's going to star in that. That'll be interesting. Okay, while we're on the topic of video games, let's talk about the Minecraft movie, just because that's the elephant in the room. Not necessarily just our theater experience and thoughts on the movies, but just like it as a whole and it as a phenomenon. This movie exploded at the end of March. Was it? No, it was the beginning of this month.
Yeah.
Shot to the top of the box office, grossed the most out of any movie this year, became a total phenomenon just based on the trailer being like a hyper online experience. Everybody knew every line from the trailer. There were moments from the trailer they were all joking about. And like, Minecraft is a generational thing.
There's really not anything more like Gen Z than this whole Minecraft movie experience.
Like, I like some of the Minecraft games. What the hell do they know about movies? There was a point in my youth where I was totally obsessed with this, and that point is not with me anymore. And I just, like, I see it in younger people, and I'm like, I totally appreciate that, because you spent way more, like, intimate time with it than I did, but I did not.
Even, like, for people that are, like, a little bit, like, a couple years younger than us, that grew up playing this game, like, I heard that they had, like, this movie was certainly targeted for, like,
a younger audience.
5 to, like, 10, maybe 12 years old, you know? And like, the teenagers got into it because it's cringy and awkward and they love that kind of thing. Yeah, but, like,
that's the meme part of it.
Right, the meme culture for sure. But also, like I was saying, like, people that are, like, a little bit younger than us that grew up playing this game kind of, like, had like, Maddie, my friend, who loves Minecraft. She was like, I don't understand how this is a movie about Minecraft.
Yeah, I mean,
like, it's just kind of it's a movie in which they go into the Minecraft world, and all the things from Minecraft are there, but it really has zero involvement with Minecraft.
For anybody that doesn't know or understand Minecraft, there is no story to this game. It's just building things, and if you have kids that are under the age of 18, you probably know this by now, because they probably talked your ear off about it. But yeah, it's just a thing. Like, there is no story to it. So they build the story, they get the stars, they get Jack Black, they get the franchise selling stuff.
They get them 69ing in the air or whatever.
Yeah, and everybody, like, agrees that it's a bland movie, it's not a good movie, it's not an enjoyable movie, but the experience of being there and partaking
it's a phenomenon.
In it with the community is a total phenomenon.
I went and saw this at the drive-in theater, which I think is the way to see movies like this. Because I paid attention to about, I mean, gosh, I don't know what the runtime of the movie is, but I was not clocked in. And I had a great time because I was at the drive-in theater, and I think it was the perfect place to watch the movie.
Yeah. There's been a lot of hay made over the fact that people are acting completely unhinged in this movie. It has been banned from a couple of
Zero
theaters.
theater etiquette.
Yeah, and that's like a bit of a negative side of the social experience that this is. I mean, if you haven't heard about it by now, "Chicken Jockey" is one of the quotes that's in the trailer, and everybody in the theater knows the exact moment that it's going to happen. And when it does, pandemonium ensues. Most of the time, you're probably just looking at a theater full of people saying it at the same time. That's your best case scenario. Your worst case scenario is somebody brings an actual chicken with them to the theater and throws it into the crowd while people are throwing popcorn and drinks at the screen and all kinds of things. It's I have seen pandemonium come out of this. Anyway, this is the new age. I mean, this is their thing, and like, I can't sit here and be like, it's content. It's not a movie, because it's a movie. But
It is a
I am so happy for you guys to go to the theater. Now, remember how much fun you had doing this, and know that you can have that much fun with something that makes you think a little bit harder, and you just have to focus on it and not scroll through Instagram reels. Okay, let's move on. This has been a big stink in the middle of this month, but the Academy has announced that all people must watch every movie. All Academy voters must watch every category before they can vote on any category. What? You guys weren't?
Well, and
I understand, like, that's a lot of content.
Then
you're also on the Academy. Like, you're one of the people that's supposed to be judging these things.
Okay, and they also recently came out and said, well, like, some Academy members were coming out and saying, like,
I'm paying people to watch them for me.
No, like, you can just hit play
and let it go.
Like, that, as long as your Academy app or whatever shows that you've played through the movie, that counts. I think that's bull. I think that's such bull. Like, put me on the Academy then. I'll watch a million movies.
I get it. You guys have busy lives. Like, you can't be expected to just sit and watch like 100 hours of things every year. But in the same stroke, it's like, then pick the categories that you're going to vote for and watch everything in that category and give it a fair shake. Because you can't just like pick and choose. Okay, I watched Amelia Perez. I'm voting for that.
Because like, I'm going to say it. I feel like if more people had seen Memoir of a Snail, it might have beat out Flow.
But like, the animated category is just not something that people were majorly looking forward to, which
and
is
if
so
they were
weird
watching
because
they were watching Flow, which was getting all the hype, and
honestly, the narrative behind Flow is just so much better. It's just so much stronger. Perhaps the smallest project.
For sure. I mean, obviously, and I'm not saying that Flow doesn't deserve its flowers or its awards or anything, but I think Memoir of a Snail has not where it came from story, but the actual movie is a much more compelling story, and it feels like I don't know. It feels like it comes from a deeper place, and I don't know. I love Memoir of a Snail. We've talked about that.
I just don't think. I think that people should be watching more shit. That's the bottom line. Okay, let's talk about a few trailers that we got over the course of these off weeks. First off, Weapons, Zach Cregger's Weapons. This has been kind of going from it's been an interesting marketing run. That's what I'll say. There have been like several teasers for it. A website has appeared talking about like these 17 children that have disappeared.
Oh, it's that movie.
Yeah, this is the guy that made Barbarian. Was his last movie, and I'm interested. I'm excited. I'm curious to see how he's going to pull this one off. I liked a lot of Barbarian. I don't think it was as revolutionary as I expected it to be, but now that my expectation is set with it, I should go back to it. But I'm interested in this one. This could be good.
The marketing for this is incredibly interesting.
Yeah, it's bizarre and fun. Weird and like
the way they
curiosity and
the way they released those videos and leaked them. For what I'm talking about is like when they first started marketing this movie a couple months ago.
It was just like kids running away.
They leaked these videos of like 17 different children running away at 2:17 in the morning, and like you can see it on like their ring, like their ring footage and the home security cameras and stuff like that. And it was made out to sound like it was a very real thing. The way that they, like I said, just kind of leaked it and like didn't mention anything about it being in relation to a movie, and then like a few hours later they were like, oh yeah, and this is the teaser for Weapons.
Yeah, I think it's really smart. I think it's a really smart way to get people engaged in it. I mean, it's not dissimilar to like the Long Legs. This is her heart rate when she saw Nick Cage in makeup. You know, it's just trying to get people engaged with like, this is going to be something creepy that you're going to be interested in.
I love a creepy summer movie.
These are not the droids you're looking for. Okay, moving on. Eddington. This is Ari Aster's new movie. This is a COVID era movie that takes place in Texas. Looks like it's going to be like hyperphonic political commentary comedy. This is going to be a hard sell. A lot of people are going to be like, are you kidding me? But yeah, Ari Aster is the master of hard sells. Here's a 3-hour movie about a man going into the worst situations possible. I just recommended that to somebody this weekend. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it just to see what Mr. Astor's cooking up. I mean, Hereditary, Midsommar, awesome. I know some people disagree with Midsommar. I think it's great, but
I know some people disagree with Hereditary.
Yeah,
Get Out. That's the scariest movie I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Hereditary. That is not Get Out.
They're really good. Get Out is good.
Get Out is great.
Okay, let's talk about 2 more here. Predator Badlands is one of them I wanted to discuss. I actually have 3 more. This is kind of a sequel to Prey, which was a Fox movie that came out a couple years ago. They hadn't really flexed their muscles with the Predator IP in a long time. Came out. It's a movie about a predator in like Native American era America, and it's fantastic. It's one of the best thriller movies of that year. It's on Hulu. Check it out. This is going to be kind of a sequel to that. Looks really interesting. Looks like it's going to be exciting. There's also like hinting at them introducing the Independence Day aliens into this franchise by doing this, which I'm interested in.
Because they've already done the Aliens versus Predator thing.
Yeah, that's a long-standing battle between those two. Okay, one battle after another. Paul Thomas Anderson. Trailer for this absolutely rules.
It's so good.
The music is great. The pacing is great. The jokes are great. Everything's great. I cannot wait to see
that
this movie.
first sequence in the trailer with Leo on the phone is just so very Paul Thomas Anderson, and I was like, we're so freaking back.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Like, thank God.
I cannot, for the life of my only child, tell you the answer to your question. Yeah, that's so good. Thank you, Sensei. Thank you. I am so ready for this movie. I'm
excited. And I thought it was postponed until Christmas, but the trailer says it comes out on September 26th.
Yep.
Amazing.
It's the weekend after my birthday. I'm gonna be seeing it. Okay, last one. Produced by Jordan Peele. Him. This is a football cult horror movie.
Yes.
This looks awesome.
I love
totally
Jordan
loved
Peele.
this trailer. Marlon Wayans is in this, and I was like, I'm in. I'm totally in.
Black horror is so dope.
And
Jordan Peele is just like the god of black horror. And
it's not even like, it doesn't look like it's a black horror movie. It's produced by Peele, so like his production company is putting it together. But did
he write it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I think he's working on his next project now. He's actually doing something with Hideo Kojima, which is pretty cool. They're doing what was that called? It wasn't. It was something like Get Out. It was something like so close to that, but it looks good. OD is what they called it. Yeah, I'm very excited for that project. Anyway, I'm excited to see what Peele's cooking up next too. But in the meantime, this will do. I'm very, very excited for him. Trailer is sick. A lot of concussions. A lot of weird blood stuff going on. A lot of neon. I'm totally up for it. It looks massively interesting.
Very cool.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about some box office notes for just a shade here. The past couple of weeks have been extremely good for the box office. It's been a really, really hard year until the Minecraft movie came out. And then Sinners came out, and they got like an adult Minecraft movie flood from that. So at the top of the box office last weekend, actually, let's go to this weekend. Thunderbolts is at the top this weekend, obviously, but Sinners is at number 2, believe it or not. Now, Here's an amazing statistic for Sinners. I'm just gonna talk about real quick. The first weekend this movie opened, it made $60 million, which it was on a budget of $100 million. It was immediately a flop. Everybody was like, "This is a shame. Pull the alarms. We're going to DEFCON
Right.
3. It's a nightmare." Then people started talking to other people about the movie, and they were like, "I will go see that." And so the next weekend, it sees another surge, and it goes to $110,000, and they're like, "Whew, okay, we're good. We're in the black."
110.
Or 110 million. Thank you.
I was like, that's it?
As of this weekend, Sinners is at $179 million. That's worldwide gross, which is like awesome. That's so awesome. So now it's almost doubled its budget. It's a severely profitable movie, and that's the power of word of mouth. It's just getting out there and being like, go to the theater and see this movie.
Such a cool couple weeks.
Yeah.
For people who love going to the movie theater.
Undoubtedly. At the top of the box office right now is Thunderbolts. We'll get to that. $76 million is what they're bringing in the opening weekend, which is not a very strong figure for a Marvel movie, but hey, you know what? They'll probably make it up in the long run. Now a Minecraft movie, which has made $398 million, which is just bonkers. It's a massive hit. It's a huge hit. There will be 30 more of them. The Accountant 2 is 5th in the box office this week, which is interesting. It's holding strong. From last week, it's only at 41 million overall, though, so it's still not extremely profitable. But I am glad to see Ben Affleck back and happy. That's for sure.
I think I just I've never heard of The Accountant until The Accountant 2 came out, and I don't know. I think it's just one of those pieces of movies that I missed. But I honestly. That's all I have to say about it.
Yeah,
I didn't know it existed until everyone was like, "Oh, The Accountant 2, and it's got Tom Hardy in it," or something.
Maybe, but I just watched Havoc this weekend too, and that had Tom Hardy in it. I don't remember who it was. Yeah, I really like the first Accountant movie. That's one that Dad and I go back and forth on.
Are they spies or are they?
Well, he's just like a killer.
Is he an accountant?
He's like a fixer.
He's
a fixer, but he's also like really autistic.
No, John Barenthal's the other ones in this.
Yes,
what was Tom Hardy in then?
Havoc. I just said it.
No, but like something that just came out. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll figure it out. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, the Accountant 2, good on it. Good on it. Yeah, it's been really good for the box office lately. I'm very, very glad for some results we've been seeing, and just people getting out, going to see movies.
Movies.
All right, let's do some rounding up. How do we want to start this?
Lord have mercy. I'm gonna rapid fire the ones that I watched that were just kind of like
Okay.
that was a movie I saw. I have 8 movies to cover.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna start with The Woman in the Yard. I really can't remember if I might have mentioned this in our last podcast. I'm not entirely sure. This was a movie. This is black horror. This is very middle of the road black horror. The main woman they're clearly trying to do like Lupita Nyong'o and Us, having like her like dueling, like having her portray 2 characters on screen, and one of them is herself but like somehow more disfigured, but not, I don't know, like they're literally doing the Us thing with like the shadow people basically. They also like, there's some point where like the Nosferatu hand shadow appears. It just felt super incredibly derivative of every horror movie I've ever seen, and it didn't work out well, and I can't even really remember if they killed the dog or not. I think they teased killing the dog, but I don't think they killed the dog. Oh no, I lied. I just remembered how the movie ended, which is super up to interpretation, but also like when I looked up director notes and stuff like that, he definitely wanted he had a specific vision for it, but it just is not clear at all. And so I was like, oh, I could interpret this 15 different ways.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's Woman in the Yard.
I
don't really. It's not worth watching. Drop was another one I saw. This was a fun showing because it was the
surprise movie.
It was the Regal mystery movie. I'd never done that before. That was cool. I figured it was this movie. Just, as an avid movie theater goer and knowing what's coming up and all that, I figured it was this movie. This movie's fun. It's not memorable very much. but it's a good theater movie. Like, you know,
It's on VOD now if you want to buy it.
some movies are just made to like watch in a movie theater, and Until Dawn is another one of the more mid movies I've seen.
Another video game adaptation. This is
done by the
PlayStation Studios.
Yeah.
It's their official label. Same
people
that
did
doing
Gran Turismo.
Same people that did and are doing The Last of Us, and same people that also did the Uncharted movie.
Oh, yippee! But I've never played the Until Dawn games, whatever.
It's just one. The studio's made, I think, a bunch of stuff, and they're all like on the rails, diverse horror experiences where you like pick. It's like a choose your own story thing.
This does not. I lost my train of thought. You said rails, and it derailed me.
Yeah.
This does not follow the people from the game, but it has essentially an identical storyline where basically they have to make it until dawn, and if they die before dawn, the time resets, and they only have like 13 attempts or something like that. And each night is a new horror, which is this is very fun. I mean, it's constantly entertaining because you're seeing so many fresh monsters and like ideas of
it's just blasts of ideas at you.
Yeah, like it's just kind of rapid firing, and it's a good time. It's out of
fun.
out of the 3 movies I just named, that was probably the most enjoyable.
Yeah, I definitely had a fun horror time with this movie. I mean, very much similar to like watching Smile 2 last year or things like that, where it's just like, you know
like
what?
I said, it's one of those things that like, I'm in the movie. I wouldn't watch this at home, but in the movie theater, it's fun.
Yeah, and it's not something that I can. It's not something I'm going to be like, you have to go out and see this.
No.
So it's just one of those things. Yeah. Do you want to do Warfare real quick?
I'll talk about Warfare a little bit. The opening scene of this movie has been stuck in my head for like forever. It's awesome. Them watching the Call on Me remix music video, and just, I mean, like, what is it, like 8 guys that just start like jumping around.
Yeah, they're just all hyped up watching this video. It's so great, and it immediately like puts you in the mood, in the moment with them, and yeah, it puts you in that moment with them, and it is so important to this movie that you be in that moment with them, because being in the moment of the actions that are happening around the movie is arguably like the most important way to experience this movie. And it does a very good job of that by just like marauding you with sound design that will just blow you out of your seat, and being like on these close corners, and
this is one worth going to see in the theaters because the sound design is so insane, and there's a moment
will not be justified on your TV speakers.
This movie had the best jump scare I've seen in years. Like, I soared out of my seat. I was.
Yeah, smell something.
Oh my!
I think I just shat myself.
Literally.
Yeah. I will not say any more about what happens at that moment, but holy piss, it is so good.
But this movie is. I really enjoyed it. We were talking a little bit about it earlier, about how you can kind of read into it one way or another.
Yeah.
I chose to read into it the way that I wanted to.
Yeah.
And like, essentially, you have this platoon of American soldiers in Iraq, and they take over this house while they're completing a mission. I'm not even really. I was so engrossed in what was happening that it's like that's not even that important.
Paying attention to why.
Which is kind of the point of the movie.
Yeah.
But there's these 2 families that live in like the split level house, and at some point the woman like screams why at them, and it's in such like a gut-wrenching way, and like it's towards the back end of the movie, and so it really like
it's really effective.
It's incredibly effective, and like I just remember hearing that, and I was like, oh my! But like it's so much more than just. I don't know. It's beautiful. It's in a terrible way.
Yeah. It like I said, it can be read as pretty indulgent if you choose to read it that way.
For sure.
And the problem with it is it opens up this conversation about, you know, how facetious is it to say the thing that you're doing in the movie. Like your message is the exact thing that you're doing right now, and
Like,
that's not a good thing.
How
What is your tolerance?
controversial it was for them to go back there and make that movie.
Yeah, it's a
This is
pretty,
also based on a
pretty
true
high.
story.
Yeah, it's a pretty high bar to clear. Also directed by the guy that was there, Ray Mendoza. Yeah, it's a really, really good movie, and I enjoy the experience of this movie. I think the message of it is pretty muddied in the idea of
A little skewed.
but I really do think it is a damn good time to go check out.
Okay, I'm gonna hit a couple. I saw a couple.
Go.
There have been 3 pretty decent I say pretty decent, amazing re-releases in the last month. We had Pride and Prejudice, Revenge of the Sith, and Happy Gilmore. I didn't go to see Revenge of the Sith. I think that it's still available. But Pride and Prejudice, I went to see this with my mommy and my sissy, and it was a beautiful, like, girlhood experience. Like, Barbie movie, get out of the way. I would rather sit next to these 2 girls that I don't know and listen to them giggle about Mr. Darcy's hand flex every day of the week. It was a blast. I love this movie very much. We've done a highlight on this movie. I mean, and I've talked about it a lot in just my daily life. But it was great. It was delightful. It was a wonderful time. This was probably one of my favorite theater experiences this year.
Yeah, it's worthwhile having. I know it was a big deal, and I've heard a lot of people have been going to see it. Yeah, Revenge of the Sith was great. The energy behind the people going to see this has been insane.
Very similar, like, great energy in the audience for Pride and Prejudice.
My coworker and buddy Dakota is a huge Star Wars fan and was like, I don't know if I should bring, like, my lightsaber, and I was like, dude, do it. Like, everybody's gonna be doing it.
Wear the Darth Vader costume.
Yeah, everybody was. It was really great, and this is probably the closest Star Wars movie to me, because I remember it coming out, my parents being like, you can't see it, but we had, like, all the paraphernalia from it.
We had, like, the Slurpee cups that, like, when you shifted them, they changed designs and stuff like that.
And I still remember the first time I saw it, and I was just, like, blown away. This is the point of the prequels. Like, the whole everything good about the prequels is happening here, and there's not a lot to be said that's really good. I mean, it is still incredibly campy and really cheesy, and it's a great time. Now, another note on this made $25 million on opening weekend, which is just bananas
for a re-release.
And Disney was
remarkable.
Like, oh, that does make money. Like, people have been wanting to see this in theaters 20 years later. Yeah.
Because, I mean, people like us that grew like this is actually kind of
Didn't get
really
the
cool
opportunity to
talking
do it.
about Pride and Prejudice and Revenge of the Sith, because they came out around the same time and were both things that we watched growing up. And, like, I've never gotten to see one of my favorite movies on the big screen. And there's something so magical about a re-release. Like, when you're really passionate about the movie, I love it.
Yeah.
I love re-releases.
We need
keep doing that, please. Keep making original movies, but also...
Well, we need more theaters that are willing to let me rent out a theater to screen Babylon to a bunch of people.
Okay.
Okay, Happy Gilmore. I did not
Happy
see this
Gilmore.
re-release. I've seen Happy Gilmore more times than I can count, though.
Well, I have not. This was actually my first time ever watching Happy Gilmore.
Joy.
And I got to watch it in a movie theater. And I didn't tell Maddie until we were on our way. And I was like, I have to confess something. I've never seen this movie. And she looked at me and she was like, you're so lucky we're on our way right now. I was like, I know, that's why I waited. This is a fun movie. This was a great time. Me and Maddie and Caleb were the only 3 people in the movie theater, which this was kind of the perfect movie for that to happen during. Like, we just got to laugh obnoxiously at all the jokes, and it was great. It was a great time.
Man.
I liked this movie.
Love this movie. It is so funny. Yeah, that's a real joy to watch in the theaters. The Legend of Ochi, I want to talk about.
I haven't seen that.
Cool. It's kind of somewhere between Race to Witch Mountain and just having Baby Yoda and Race to Witch. Yeah, it's really. I mean, it's kind of what's on the tin. I
love the Race to Witch Mountain.
Yeah, it had some charming moments, and of course has like its emotional beats and stuff. This is we were talking about A24 earlier, and I forgot to note this. This is an A24 movie as well, which is another one of those like wild and marketable swings for them. It didn't really pan out. It doesn't sound like this movie's doing too hot at the box office, but that's okay. I was fine with it. I don't have much to say about it. It was fine. I don't think it's one I'll be, hotly anticipating on digital or physical or anything, but it's a good time.
I realized before we talk about Thunderbolts and then Sinners, I want to say one thing about I mentioned it earlier. Will Poulter did Death of a Unicorn and Warfare back to back, and for him to go from like the comedic relief stupid ass son to like the leader of this platoon and do it really well, I was honestly, I don't know, I'm on the Will Poulter train.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he's totally.
I don't think he's anything like outstanding. Like, I don't think he's like Chalamet or anything like that.
He's moved beyond like being the eyebrows guy from the Maze Runner.
Yes, and like, I mean, his first role, if I'm not mistaken, was in the Voyage of the Dawn Treader.
Yeah, he plays Eustace Clarence.
Eustace Clarence, you struggled.
I don't know why I struggled with that. I was like, is Clarence his last name?
I don't know. I don't know that it is.
It may not be. He plays Eustace in the Voyage of the
Dawn Treader. He plays Eustace. He plays the eyebrow guy.
And yeah.
But now, like, I don't know.
No, he's cool.
But now he's a good actor.
I like him.
He's fun, and he's funny when he wants to be, and he's serious when he wants to be. And
he's gonna
that range was really cool seeing from him in a month.
He's gonna be like a very Nick Nolte kind of guy, like Nolte from the early '90s and stuff, where he's like in Cape Fear, and I'm interested to see where his career goes as he's getting, because he's in his early 30s now or something like that.
Oh my gosh, probably
late
20s, early 30s.
Yeah, I'm excited to see more of him. Okay, Thunderbolts real quick. I will note I have not seen Thunderbolts. I have heard just about everything that you can about Thunderbolts at this point, though, so I can discuss back and forth with you.
This was a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
It was a Marvel movie. The bad guy, it turns out, is depression, and the hero is friendship.
Yeah. And
that is pretty much it. Florence Pugh jumps off the second biggest building in the world. I love Florence Pugh. There was one scene where I was watching and I was like, and there it is. There you are, being a good actress. I love it. Thank you so much.
Here's the big Florence Pugh question. Is that what she's going to be doing for the next 10 years?
I hope to God not. Probably, because they literally just signed on to be the Dark Avengers or whatever they're called.
It's the New Avengers.
The New Avengers, yeah.
By the way, I was right.
I know.
I was wondering if they were going to do the marketing.
Like,
I wasn't right about the marketing strategy.
Okay.
I don't think I was right about that, but I knew, like, from the second I saw that asterisk, I was like, there's going to be some big thing where they have the team renamed to the Dark Avengers or the New Avengers or something. And yeah, there was. I've heard like middling to positive reviews about this movie.
That's middle. It's one of the better Marvel movies.
I've heard it is the best Marvel movie that's come out in the past couple of years.
I mean, I would completely agree with that. The fight, I was really trying to enjoy it, I think, and that was maybe my fatal flaw.
Yeah,
but like
Sebastian Stan is not in enough of it, from what I heard.
The fights are really good. What?
Sebastian Stan is not.
In enough. No, he's not. He's not in like another actor that deserves better than Marvel. I'm so sick of this.
Okay, he did it. He got out.
I know, but not really, because he's back. He's back. He's part of the New Avengers.
He was probably recording
also,
this between
Bucky Barnes becomes a congressman?
Yeah, the former Soviet asset becomes a congressman in the U.S. I mean, maybe that tracks. I don't know.
The dingo ate my baby. Yeah.
The Thunderbolts.
The Thunderbolts.
Marvel's The Thunderbolts.
It's cute that they're named after Florence Pugh.
Run to go see this movie. No.
There's about 2 billion showings of it, so good news. You will have every opportunity.
Save your money for Fantastic Four, which I'm hoping
will be better.
I'm hoping will be interesting. I'm hoping quietly. I don't like Marvel anymore. But I'm hoping quietly that movie will be good.
I was hoping quietly that Thunderbolts would have like a little oomph to it because of all the A24 like
that is like the most studio thing ever.
But that was just another marketing.
Out the trailer of like from some of the people that made Everything Everywhere All at Once, and like the score behind that, and I was like, that trailer is sick. That trailer is totally sick and totally had me interested in this movie.
Yeah, they made a very good trailer, and like I said, I just had the tiniest bit of like, maybe it'll have something. No, it doesn't. It's the same as every Marvel movie. The bad guy's basically Vision, bro. Like,
It does.
And then he's not a bad guy.
It does have different qualities. It
does.
is just so close to the formula.
It's just
that it doesn't feel original, and it's pretty hard
boring
to feel original in the face of one of the best original studio movies in the past
this is true.
5 years.
I've seen Sinners 3 times.
Let's talk about Sinners. This is where it's at, folks.
This is a movie.
This is where the money gets made.
This is the shit we've been complaining about not having for years.
Yep. There has not been I don't think there's been a big studio swing towards something like this since Babylon. It is an absolute theatrical joy. It is so good. And
people keep asking me, they're like, what's this movie even about? And I'm like, culture and vampires and music and religion. And
I tell people it is a dramatic vampire musical.
I think musical's the wrong word.
It
I know on a technicality it is a musical.
It is.
I know.
It is at its core. Because
but I think the musical's the wrong word to sell the movie.
Yeah, I do agree with that. Which is why I usually tell people, don't go into this expecting musical spectacle. Expect musical performance. It's not like going to see a Broadway play. It's like going to see a concert. It's
right.
But it's magical. So let's just break it down.
Okay.
I have seen this movie 8 times now.
I've seen this movie 3 times, and I probably will go see it again today.
I am such a huge fan of this movie. The first time I saw it was the Sunday before, or the Saturday before Easter. I had been roaming around all day and just hearing the best things about this movie. I was like, it's the theater experience of the year. You got to go do this. You got to do that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to catch a 10 p.m. showing. And I went to it, and I was so tired, and I sat through that movie, and there were multiple moments where my jaw just went down, and I left it, and I was like, I've got to see that again. I've got to approach it again, and now that my expectation of what it is has been set, I can go in with a clean slate and just know what I'm looking for here in the themes, in the performances, in the background, in the foreground, all this stuff.
That's exactly what I had to do. I mean, I went and saw it, and I was too overwhelmed by what it was, and I thought that I didn't like it, and then I sat with it for a week, and I kind of listened to podcasts and stuff like that.
And listen to me just be like, please go see.
No, and I knew I missed something. I was like, I know I'm missing something. I shouldn't not like this movie.
Yeah.
I need to go see it again. And then I saw it again, and I couldn't believe how much more I liked it.
Yeah.
I was like, I told Zach, I said, I feel like that Danny DeVito meme where he's like, I get it now. That's exactly what I felt like looking up at that screen. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I saw it a third time, and I cried.
Yeah.
So.
There are so many moments in it where it's like, I promise you this isn't out to get you.
Yes.
I promise you it's not.
From a faith perspective, there's a lot of struggle with systemic religion.
Yeah, there's a lot of difficult conversations surrounding the idea of religion that has been forced upon people so deeply that it's a part of their cultural identity. And they're quietly struggling with that. And
there's a moment towards the end, and I won't say much about it, that
it feels like a heroic moment in the movie for the sake of the movie's purposes, but in reality it's a very big moral quandary.
I don't know if we're talking about the same thing.
Okay.
But it's, as a Catholic, it's very terrifying, and I was so off put by how scared I was, feeling like my faith was under attack, that I missed a really important line of dialogue that it completely explained the situation.
Yeah.
This is a movie so worth seeing in theaters, and if you don't like it the first time, go and see it again, because you will. You will
and I think a lot can be said about the expectation for it. I just had 2 friends that went and saw it yesterday after I'd been recommending it to them for 3 weeks and just been like, you have to see it, you have to see it, you have to see it. It's the best, it's the best, it's the best. And they go in, they're like, this is great, but I don't see how it's the best. And I'm like, look a little harder.
Mm-hmm.
Don't hold this don't hold this up to the same light that you hold you know Ant-Man and the Wasp up to. But hold this up to the light where you're like, okay, I want to see like the different angles on this diamond. I gotta, because it is a classic movie, and it just works so well. Like the revolutions, the fates of each character, like all of these pieces just fit.
The moral quandaries and
the questions it asks you to ask yourself, and not question yourself, but ask yourself. Like, I'm not approaching you with this idea to
you really think about
make
this movie.
You compromise on your belief. I'm approaching you this idea to make you think about things like in a different light, and I think that's an excellent thing. I think that being able to sort through the morality of this movie is awesome, because you see that it is heroic in way fewer of its assets than it initially poses itself to be. Like, it's not. I won't say too much about this because I'm trying with every fiber of my being not to spoil points of this movie. All I will say is go see it. I honestly think this will be one that we'll do a highlight on at some point, because at this point I've digested it so many times. I want to talk about it in depth, but
yeah.
It's really something that you do not want to miss in theaters. Like,
no.
if you do, it's something you'll discover on streaming 3 years from now and say, how did I miss this? Because it is so worth seeing. It is so amazing. It is such an achievement for Coogler. And
fair warning, there's quite a bit of sexual content.
Yeah, there are three particular scenes where the sex is really heavy. There's no nudity in the movie.
There's no nudity, but there is sex.
There is
sex.
There
are conversations about it.
Yeah, and there's what can be considered like a sex in a beautiful light. There's what can be considered sex in like lustful light, and it's not uncomplex. It's something that is going to make you think about like what is moral righteousness in a situation like this. And I mean, the name of the movie is Sinners. It's about people that are sinners, and it's about like what are the wages of sin to you, and what are the consequences of sin to you, and it's amazing. I really, really, really love this movie. I think I'd recommend it to everybody if I could, but I know that a lot of people will have a hard time with a lot of the more morally frustrating areas of the movie, but it is totally one that is worth going through. And while we're on that note, I do want to just bring up this conversation while we're talking about morality and things. Mom broached me with a good question the other day, and she had Father Baker at Danny's school recommend her Silence by Martin Scorsese.
Okay.
And she was like, I was like, the first words out of my mouth were, "You're gonna have a hard time with the ending of that movie." And she was like, "That's exactly what he said." And I was just like, "Look, at the end of the day, you and your morality are your responsibility."
And it's not bad to put yourself in a position where you
have to be putting yourself in positions where you feel challenged.
Yes.
And
because if you don't, then you're going to fall shy when you are challenged.
Exactly.
Real.
How are you going to be able to form an argument for your idea if you can't even sit through something that challenges?
If you haven't even thought about it.
And it is uncomfortable. Like it's extremely uncomfortable. I don't like sitting through the sex scenes in Sinners. Like I don't like being there. I don't like looking around at the other audience members and seeing their reactions to it. It's not something fun for me, but it is something that I do try to understand, because at the end of the day, the knowledge that I attain from like sorting through something like that tells me more about myself. It tells me more about, it tells me more about Ryan Coogler. It tells me more about the way that he's able to write and reflect on morality, and it's philosophy. It's awesome. I love stuff like that.
It really is.
And I think it's really valuable to have those experiences where you push yourself to experience something you wouldn't necessarily see as righteous or things like that, so you can teach yourself the idea of your righteousness and like the most important parts of what make you. And for me, that's Catholic morality. And it allows me to like sit through things like this and be like, I love this. I think this is amazing. And I think there are parts of it that I take issue with or that frustrate me, that scared me until I tried to understand them. And they're less scary to me because they're not monsters in the closet anymore. It's something that I approach.
You've confronted it.
Yeah. And have been like, okay, why does this scare or frustrate me? and it's so worth it to have that experience. It's so worth it because it just teaches you how to be a better person and how to approach more frustrating situations with better patience and understanding. That's Sinners. That's what Sinners did for me, and I did it 8 times in a row. This movie rules so much.
Sinners great. Don't take your kids.
Yeah,
Take your
do
friends.
not take your kids.
Take your friends.
People that you want to have a discussion about this movie with. Take people that you're like, you're a person that I want to sit down and have a beer with after this and talk about what it is. And you will have an amazing time with it. Also, go see it in the biggest theater you can. If you can see it in IMAX, see it in IMAX. It's incredible in IMAX.
79-foot screen.
Yeah, it's fantastic. There's no 70mm film projection near me, so I'm kind of
There's only laser projection.
I'm just doing that laser projection up at Regal, but it does the trick. It's a pretty small IMAX screen, all things told, but it certainly works. Okay, now I've rambled about Sinners. I'm satisfied. Let's see what's coming up next weekend. We've got
I don't know about next weekend, but I know that at the end of May, which is this month, surprise. Hey, happy Star Wars Day, guys.
Yes,
it's May
is.
the 4th when we're
May the
recording
4th
this
be
right
with
now. At the end of this month / the beginning of June, depending on where you are, Friendship is coming, which is the Tim Robinson and come on now, Paul Rudd movie. I'm incredibly excited for this.
That's gonna be a banger.
I think you should leave. I think it's the perfect thing. It's my exact style.
It's the perfect
literally.
thing.
This is my type of humor, for those of you that don't know, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing Tim in a feature film.
Yeah,
I think this will be very fun.
Be a blast. There's been some like interview footage that's come out here lately that is just hysterical. I can't wait. Not a whole lot going on this weekend. There are little to no movies debuting. I saw that there's one called Juliet and Romeo coming out.
Oh yeah, it's a musical retelling of Romeo and Juliet, but I think that she's more important because we're feminist now.
Yeah, this is not one I'm particularly interested in or have heard of before this point.
Yeah, I haven't heard of Shadow Force.
I don't
know anything about Shadow Force.
I'm not entirely sure about that. I don't know. Maybe we'll
Fight or Flight.
Maybe I'll just start going through a
Flight?
stack. Nothing. Jack Diddley.
It's that guy, Josh Hartnett.
There's
the guy that was in Trap.
There's a Monty Python 50th anniversary coming
Boo.
out.
This is really...
Boo?
No, sorry, not the Monty Python. I was booing the fact that there's no fun movies coming out on my birthday.
Oh, yeah.
But I will just go see Sinners again. So.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little quiet for the next couple of weeks. I guess we'll just see what comes out towards the end of the month because we are approaching summer. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning is coming out, or Final Reckoning is coming out at the end of this month.
Big summer blockbusters, here they come.
I'm pumped for that. Let's go, Tom Cruise. Yeah, we will keep covering. We'll keep covering and watching.
We've discussed it, and we think that with the current state of theater, it may be best to do a bi-weekly to monthly roundup. So let us know what you guys think, what you would rather have. Because bi-weekly, I'm worried that's not going to be, it's going to be too frequent, but I don't want people to miss movies.
Yeah, it depends on what you like. Do you prefer a shot in the arm, or do you prefer like a longer reflection on what's happened? Because I've enjoyed this, honestly. Like, I've enjoyed being able to go back and sit back on things, but whatever, we are here to please. We are just doing the show, and honestly, just loving being able to talk into a microphone about things that we be doing all the time.
I'll put a poll on Instagram or something.
Indeed. So, all right. Well, I think that's going to wrap up this weekly roundup. We'll discuss a highlight and see if we can come back to you guys with one later this week. Might be Sinners. You never know. But
now we can't get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. I can't review that one regularly. I can't just watch it with like Hindi subtitles or something. Yeah, go to the movie theater, go see Sinners, have a fantastic week, stay safe wherever you are, stay warm, happy, healthy, all that good stuff.
Stay cool.
Yeah, stay cool.
It's getting summertime. Stay warm.
It cooled down today. It's 55 today.
Stay at an average temperature.
Check your air filters and your HVAC. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.